Over the last 66 days, I have run 656 miles, which is over 300 miles a month on average for the past 2 months. And during this marathon block, I've used 11 pairs of shoes. 6 of those pairs we used more than once, and 2 of them have managed to log well over 100 miles during this time. So it's time to do a wrap up of the most used shoes during this autumn marathon training block. And 6 running shoe brands were used. They were Nike, Brooks, Adidas, Asics, Saucony and Hoka. And I put the number of pairs of those shoes on screen now, and let's get into the most used shoes before we get into the most miles logged. And so I've got the 5 shoes ready to give you now, but before that let me share with you the 6 shoes that were used in the rotation but only used once. So I'll just remind myself off the list. They were the Adidas SL2, the Saucony Kinvara 14, the Brooks Ghost Max 2, the Nike Next Percent version 1, that was in the Podium 5K race, the Nike Alphafly 3 and the Nike Pegasus Plus. And in terms of the Pegasus Plus, that's only just come in, so that's only had 1 workout, so not really fair, but that's the latest addition to the shoe lineup. The Alphafly 3 was used as a test run to see if it's the one that I wanted to use for my race. I decided against it. As I just said, the Next Percent version 1 was used in the Podium 5K. The Saucony Kinvara 14 was used in like week 1 or week 2 for a workout out on the trails before we got too specific with marathon training. The Brooks Ghost Max 2 was very kindly sent to me, took that one out for a test run, enjoyed that, took it for an easy run, but I've got my firm rotation which you will see shortly, so that one's been shelved for the moment. And then the Adidas SL2, which will come in later after this marathon training block, that's also got a couple of easy runs, but that's about it. So bringing up the rear in 5th place is the Next Percent version 2. That's been used 6 times during this training block. So around about 5 to 6 weeks ago I started to introduce the Next Percent 2 because I knew after testing the Alphafly version 3 that was not going to be my race shoe, and I decided on the Next Percent version 2 because I had a box fresh pair here. So I had some other pairs that I was using in training. I thought, right, we've got the box fresh pair, and since then I found another pair which I've bought in for my race day. So I've got pairs of those here to use for race day, and I've been practicing in a couple of different versions of the Next Percent version 2, so that's been really useful during this training block. And the Brooks Hyperion Max also comes in with 6 runs, so in 4th place that one slots in nicely. That one has been used for medium long runs. When I was out there just trying to cruise the trails at a relatively steady pace, that one absolutely soaked it up really well. I have now transitioned to the Noosa Tri 16, but the Brooks Hyperion Max was well used during this training block, and I really valued that one for its cushion and comfort out on those longer miles. And then in 3rd place, 8 uses during this training block, the Asics Noosa Tri 16. As I just alluded to, what a shoe that has been. Got that in literally at the start of this training block, and it has just come in and swallowed up a ton of miles. Whether it's workout miles, whether it's medium long runs or easy runs, it has been absolutely fantastic. One of my favourite shoes of the year so far, definitely up there for a contender of shoe of the year. Completely underrated because there's so many other incredible Asics shoes out there that people love to test and review, but honestly this one is being slept on way too much. Not enough people are using this in their rotation. It's quite aggressive, it's a little bit soft, and it's very lightweight. It's everything you want in a do-it-all type of trainer. And then the Adidas Adios Pro 3 coming in with 11 runs, 11 uses during this training block. And again, I can't wax lyrical enough about this shoe. It has been absolutely incredible. In previous training blocks, that shoe for me has been a Brooks shoe, either the Tempo or the Hyperion Max. This time around, the Adidas Pro 3 has absolutely saved my training block. Well, to be honest with you, I credit so much of it to that shoe. I get super shoe cushioning without the rigidity of a carbon plate. It just keeps my legs feeling really good and really fresh. Plus, I get a lightweight trainer that I feel like I can move really well. It's not one, I get asked it a lot, it's not one that I would want to particularly race in. I have raced in it in the past. I do find it lacks pop, but for me, it is an elite training shoe. And honestly, as I've said a million times over, when it pops up on discount, when the Pro 4 comes out, I will be grabbing another pair for the next training block. And then coming in the top spot is the Hoka Max 6 for the most used runs, the most amount of runs, 17 runs for this one, and it has pretty much eaten up all easy miles. So everything, pretty much, most easy runs during this training block, the Hoka Max 6 has done. Bar a few exceptions where I was just rotating a few shoes, that one has taken all of it, and they are doing so well. They are starting to flatten out a little bit, but they still have a bit of life left in them. I'm at 340 miles and I promise you guys I will take that shoe to failure to see at what point that thing gives out. But so far it has been absolutely incredible, and for me the best easy run shoe of the year, the best shoe in general. It is going to be tough to knock that one off top spot. So hopefully that gives you an idea in terms of the 11 shoes I've tested, which ones those 5 have been an absolute core to the routine. But that's the most used. What about the most miles? Because out of those 5 that I've just gone through, there is some change in how many miles I've put in them. And we kickstart with the Brooks Hyperion Max 2 at the bottom, which is 72.99 miles over this training block. So out of the 6 runs, it logged 73 pretty much miles. And it was absolutely fantastic, as I said, in the long runs. And it's doing really well. As I said, I've not got it to 100 miles yet. I really thought that it would be one of the shoes that I would get to 100 miles. However, I've just preferred the Noosa Tri over it towards the end of the training block. In general though, this shoe is built like a tank, and it is built to last. It is showing absolutely no signs of anything whatsoever. And I appreciate at 73 miles it shouldn't, but it is just feeling so strong, so good. The grip, as always with Brooks shoes, I have never ever had an issue with any of the Tempo, the Max or the Max 2. They've all been really tacky, grippy and fantastic. Used it in all weathers, and obviously most of the time it's been used through the summer, but it's just been cruising those nice light trails for lots and lots of miles, and it is just doing so well. So this one comes in 5th place with 73 miles. And in 4th place comes the Next Percent version 2. These are the Baby Blues, 94.55 miles for these ones over the 6 runs. So this has had the same amount of runs as the Brooks Hyperion Max 2, but plenty more miles logged, nearly over 20 miles. Now, the reason for that is taken my marathon sessions, as I talked about earlier. This has done things like 4x3 miles, 3x7k, 60 miles at marathon pace. Last week's session was 5k at marathon pace, 1k push, 1k float. So it's done all of those type of sessions. Everything that it's done has been of decent volume. And again, that's just to prepare me to use this shoe over a long period of time. I've run marathons in the Next Percent version 1 and 2. I find them to be the best shoe for me, but I do like to prepare my body because they can aggravate the calves, as per all carbon plated shoes really. They can be quite aggressive, and I can often find that I get sore calves afterwards. So by using it every single week in those marathon sessions, it's been absolutely fantastic. Legs feel great, really happy with it, and I can't wait to lace them up on race day. And this is the only shoe that holds position from the previous list. The Asics Noosa Tri 99.69 miles. It's a little bit muddy from the recent run because the weather here has been absolutely atrocious. But again, I can't wax lyrical enough about this shoe. For a daily trainer, this has got it all. This one and the Max 6 are basically the 2 contenders for me right now up there for shoe of the year. I need to put more miles in it. Really, I kind of want to get a bit closer to what I did with the Max and see what the durability is like with it. But overall, I've got to say, this thing has been fantastic. But I find it to be more versatile than the Max, and I actually want to use this on more different types of runs. So not only have I done easy runs in it, but I've done 2 or 3 sessions in it. I've done 2 or 3 medium long runs in it. As I said, easy runs. It's covered quite a lot. So from a do-it-all trainer perspective, yes, I have done stuff like that in the Max. I've just not wanted to. I've preferred the Max for those easier days. I have done a workout in the Max. I have done medium longs, and I've even done a long run in the Max during this training block, and it was absolutely stellar. But I have to say, this one kind of pips it for when you want something that is going to do speed. It's a little bit more aggressive. It's got a bit of a rocker at the end there. You kind of puts you on your toes a little bit. It is absolutely fantastic. This one comes in at 3rd place. And dropping off the previous list, 1st place down to 2nd in this one is the Hoka Max 6. This is 137.88 miles. So although it has done the most runs, it has not put in the most miles. And again, that just comes down to the fact that it's taken the easy runs. And the easy runs, they've been a decent volume during this training block, but obviously they're nothing like what we've done in the Adios Pro 3. So again, in terms of durability, 340 miles now. As I said, it is starting to flatten out. I want to take it to the end of this training block. I do want to push this thing to failure. I do want to see how close I can get it to 400 miles. It's not quite as bouncy and poppy as it was, but it's certainly not gone really, really flat yet. So we'll see where we can go with it. But overall, again, throughout this training block, there are a few shoes that you look at and you just go, I appreciate you. You have helped me through these last 12 weeks, and this is definitely one of them. And then, as I said, taking the top spot, the Adidas Adios Pro 3. So in total, this thing has 469 miles in it, but during this training block, 183. So we're talking another 50 miles on top of the max. I might actually have to frame this shoe. It has been absolutely amazing. Snapped carbon rods in both shoes now. 469 miles, and honestly I took it out for the workout today and it is just so good. I'm really tempted at the end of this training block just to retire it. Even if it's got more miles left in it, I feel like I should probably just park it there, get it to 500 just over, see how it feels at that point, and just park it and then wait and get some new ones in the sale, because 500 miles for a super shoe is just unheard of, unfathomable. And even though it's got 2 snap rods, it has just made no difference to the shoe. Bar the fact that it absolutely stinks, it is absolutely amazing. So this thing, as I said, has done long runs, most of the long runs, a lot of the workouts midweek, not the marathon specific ones. I've used the Next Percents for those, but some of the other workouts I've used for that. So medium long runs every now and again, no easy runs of course, but with the fact that this thing has been chewing up 20-mile plus long runs most weekends, it sits itself nicely on the top spot for the most miles logged. So there we go, that is my most used and most miles logged during this autumn marathon training block. And out of those 5, if I could pick 3 for a 3 shoe rotation, I've got to say Adios Pro 3, Hoka Max 6, and then the Noosa Tri. The Brooks Hyperion Max 2 is a brilliant shoe, but I've been splicing in the Noosa Tri for some of the medium long runs and I'll be quite happy with that. And the Next Percent 2, because I've used it so much, I could get away with just using the Pro 3 throughout the block and then lacing up the Next Percents on race day without an issue. I just personally like to practice in race day shoes. So a 3 shoe rotation like that is absolutely incredible. I think I say it over most training blocks at the end, but when I get to the end and I have this kind of higher appreciation for some of the shoes, I think I always say that this has been the best rotation, but I've got to say this could well top everything that I've ever had before. So there we go, that is it for this video guys. I hope you appreciate it, and I'd love to know what your stellar shoe of this recent training block has been. Do drop a comment below, let me know what you found to be the best, and of course I ask it all the time, how many miles in your Adios Pro 3? And are you going to be grabbing the Pro 4? It's definitely top of my hit list when that one comes out. I'd love to grab that and see what improvements we've got from version 3 to version 4. That's it from me today guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.